Hi, Fatma. Thanks for sending in your next essays and well done on that correction, which looks really good. It's obvious you're working really hard and well done. Cracking on with the course. Congratulations. I'm going to start with this one, this task 1, okay, about schools. So here you've introduced it very nicely. You're telling me what it is and you've said school subjects. You could say maybe academic, although I know PE isn't academic, but you could say curriculum subjects or something like that instead of repeating school subjects, because obviously we're trying to avoid repetition as much as we possibly can. And I would also replace that popularity with another word, such as acceptance of one, although I know that's not a perfect synonym, or just turn it around saying which students liked which subject most. Something like that, if we can possibly try and avoid repeating the words in the question, although I appreciate that's not always easy. Okay, so overall, so this first paragraph here, you're going to give me an overview of the whole thing. Okay, so you've highlighted PE and history as the most popular. Yeah, so you said the most highly favoured, or I would say the most favoured, you could say, subjects, with similar amounts representing almost half the proportion of students. Yes, it's a little bit heavy then. It's a little bit hard to say what you mean. And I would just say with almost a quarter each, although it's a bit under, or so, just under a quarter each. And then that takes you up to half the proportion, because you need to give a number there. So you need to give the quarter before you can get up to a half, if you see what I mean, compared with the 5 other subjects. Okay, so you said on the other hand, be careful using on the other hand when you haven't put on the one hand. So you could put, however, geography, biology and IT were the least popular, okay, were the least enjoyed by students. And you're giving me the percentages, put a percentage in there respectively, with IT being less than a tenth of the total amount of the school. That's a little bit confusing. I would say IT being less than, or you could say IT being the least popular, or you can even say IT being being 4 times less popular than history. Make a comparison there because between those two, because that's such a big contrast there, and it's good to get a comparative structure in there. Sciences, okay, as far as sciences are concerned, students preferred physics to biology, or you could say biology was almost twice as popular as physics, something like that. Trying to avoid the big numbers here, the percentages the whole time, because it's quite heavy to read. Similarly, humanities, history was almost 4 times more popular than geography, okay, at 22% and 6.4. Okay, so I've already done that comparison earlier up there, but yes, you can rework that. So I would use some percentages, but I would also use some a fifth or something like that, or a quarter. Just vary the numbers a bit, just so it's a little bit more easy to visualize, isn't it? So your final comment here, yep, that's all absolutely fine. I might say, because we're not really talking about the number of students, we don't know the number of students, so be careful of that. The total popularity, or the overall popularity of humanities, was very similar to that of maths and sciences, okay? Just be careful, because we're not talking about student numbers, and don't get confused on that one. Okay, so well done on that task 1. You've got the organisation very good, you've got your numbers, your structure is good. So keep on thinking about doing your comparisons, about grouping which you're doing, about your superlatives, and you're choosing some interesting things to comment on. So good stuff there. Okay, so part-time work as a student. This is nicely laid out. You've worked hard on your coherence, following the argument through, and you are answering the task, which is really good. So well done on the task achievement. It's clear to follow on the cohesion, so that's all looking good. In terms of the task achievement, I'll just draw your attention to the word count again. Your word count is too high, and the examiner will stop marking beyond 280 words, and you will lose marks because it's thought that you're not answering the question, and you're not reading the question. So this is really, really important to cut down your essay, okay? So the issue of whether students should focus on their studies or parallel their education with a part-time job has been debatable, or has been debated in the modern world, especially in the West. In this essay, I'll discuss both issues using a hypothetical example. I don't really like that hypothetical. I'm not sure about that. I would say using examples and evidence from Harvard University. On the one hand, there's ample evidence. We've got evidence again here. Just so take out that maybe just examples from. Or there's ample evidence. You need to have here to suggest that working on a side job while studying can impact a student positively. Yeah. The central reason behind this is twofold. Now, you should just spell that different. Just separate that or hyphenate it. Twofold. And then take out that. Okay. I would put a full stop there, and I would start here firstly because it's quite a long sentence you're going into, and it's a good complex sentence. Firstly, students can start earning at an early age, which is beneficial for those struggling with financing their studies. Okay. Secondly, now I would take out they because I think it's, yes, you're referencing it back to students, but I would almost say maybe better, it is possible to gain on-the-job experience, which could not be obtained from studies alone, and additionally increase a chance or the chance of securing a job a job after graduation. So I'm trying to take out they because it just seems a little bit too personal, and I think it's better just to stand back a little bit. This is your hypothetical example, but because your word count is too high, I would just cut that altogether. I don't think it's helpful, and you've made a very good point there. Okay. I mean, if you need an example, I'm sure you could make one up, but I think this is a bit confusing and too long. On the other hand, small o, although there's a case to argue that students gain professional skills from a part-time job and undoubtedly earn more, yeah, the impact of time management and stress cannot be overstated. Okay. The impact of time management and stress on studies, or something like that, and stress caused to their studies cannot be overstated. This is because some jobs require more effort than others, which therefore allows less time and we don't want to pay attention. Put more effort than others, and therefore allows less time and attention, less time and focus on studies. This viewpoint is echoed by a study. Yes, this is good, illustrating students who focus on their studies outperform students that are balancing or attempting to balance between this and a job. Okay, so you could use this instead of repeating studies again. Consequently, students may lose interest in their study and put extra effort into work which could threaten their welfare. Just slightly trying to change your tenses a little bit just to make it a bit more cohesive, a little bit clearer as to where you're going, and to show off some nice grammar structures at the same time. Okay, so to conclude from the examples and points made or given, the disadvantages of a part-time job are now merely significant. We can't have merely significant. Are significant compared to the benefits. The benefits possible from getting experience in a competitive workplace or something. Benefits students can gain from employment maybe, and securing a job in the competitive modern world. Yeah, so you don't need to repeat this, okay? Or you have to say the benefits a student can gain are far more valuable. Just slightly rework that. Okay, a bit confusing. And I would not put therefore. I don't like saying pros and cons. It's a bit too informal. Maybe put in here, I believe that the disadvantages are insignificant compared to the benefits. Okay, the benefits a student can gain from employment or part-time employment and experiencing the modern competitive workplace, something like that. Okay, so you've got lots and lots of good stuff here. I can see you're working really hard, and you know there's so much good stuff. You're answering the question. Your grammar's really, really nice, and you've got a good vocabulary. You seem to be quite able to use the vocabulary really well. So I'm really impressed. Keep going, and I look forward to reading your next essays. Well done.